Tropes podcast where books and friendships collide. I'm Becca.
And I'm Keri, and we're two friends who love to talk about books. And today we are talking about the new book we'll be covering, One Dark Window. It's our book bait episode, so we're going to give you an intro to the book and all the things.
Yes.
But we are so excited to talk about One Dark Window and its sequel, Two Twisted Crowns, but we are going to focus on One Dark Window because that's the first book of the series. So, yeah. All right, so starting off, this will be slightly different. So our last series with Powerless and Reckless, I had never read it before, but Becca has not read One Dark Window before, and I have. So we're switching roles.
Switching it up.
So if you'll know when you know, I'm practicing that because you're not going to know until you know.
Okay.
If you haven't ever listened to our podcast before, we have covered A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Neither of us had read any of those books before. And like I said, we just finished our coverage on Powerless and Reckless, where Becca had read these books before, but I had not. And so we are going to continue to do a spoiler-free podcast because Becca hasn't read the book yet.
Yep.
And we want to make sure we appeal to those who haven't.
Yep.
All right. So now on to the book. Becca, do you want to give us some of the author information?
Yeah. So the author of One Dark Window is Rachel Gillig. And her little bio thing says, Rachel Gillig is the New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of the Shepherd King series. And the Shepherd King series is One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. If she's not ensconced in blankets dreaming up her next novel, Rachel is out walking in beautiful coastal California. Two very different things. Very different coasts. Beautiful coastal California with her husband, son, and their dignified poodle, Wally.
Aw, that's such a good name for a dog.
I know. And I have a picture. I'm on her website, and I have a picture, and he's so cute.
Wally. Or is it like with a Y? That would have been really cute.
I know.
Now I want to name my next dog Wally.
Okay.
All right, so Becca, you haven't read the book yet. What do you know about it already? Like, what are some things you know or some things you think you know?
Okay, so obviously it's a duology. There's two books. So One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns.
Yep.
I know it's a fantasy. I know that the magic system is very intricate. It's they have like playing cards, and I think like I don't know much about how that works with the magic system, but I think like the more cards you get, the more magic you have, maybe. And then I think there's like the main character may have like some kind of split personality because there's like a monster inside her head. And that's all I know.
Okay.
And I think she's at a school, but that's based on the cover.
Interesting. So, well, speaking of cover, both inside, I guess. Just kidding. We don't have a hard copy, so we don't have a hard copy. So outside, what based on the cover of the book, do you have any predictions, theories? We have like, let's see, it's like a little smoky, like a castle thing behind it, or a school, or like kind of intricate designs. Tell me if you have any predictions or theories based on that cover.
Okay, so the cover, I'm going to describe it a little bit if it's okay. Okay, so the cover it's like a greenish gray cover. And there's two stone towers that kind of are on both sides of the cover. And there's a bridge in the middle with a girl in a red cloak, a red dress, I'm not sure, in the middle of the bridge. It's kind of looks like a parapet. With like smoke coming off of her, like not out of her necessarily, but off of her. And then so that's where I kind of got like maybe it's like an dark academia book because it is dark, but it almost looks like it could be a school or a castle or something like that. And then I think because there's two of them, maybe she's trying to choose between like, does she want to go on one side? Does she want to go on the other? Like what what that looks like. And then I think because of the gold like on the corners, maybe it's like if it's a castle, maybe it's 2 kingdoms. I think maybe 2 twisted crowns also gave that. But
I guess you'll see.
Yeah, and then the tagline says maiden, monster, martyr. So I'm not sure if that's all one person or if it's 3 different people or what that looks like. But the little review on it is from Allison Saft, who's the author of a far wilder magic, and it says an enchanting tale with sharp claws and teeth. So yeah, that's all. That's a lot. I really went deep on that one.
I know. I guess you'll know when you know.
Am I anywhere close?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. So, listeners, something about me is I tend to accidentally drop spoilers. So this is going to be a very interesting read as Becca reads through the series, because I struggle with accidentally dropping spoilers. It's just something I do. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But we're going to work on it. I'm doing okay so far, I think. Have I given you anything?
You haven't given me anything. Except for you told me you think I'm really going to like this book. I also this works out because I don't really mind spoilers. I like trying to figure things out at the end of the book versus like my husband hates spoilers with his whole heart. So
that's true. But we want to avoid that.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I'm not worried. I think you're doing great.
I'm going to do great. We're speaking it into existence.
Yes.
But let's do the book description, which is technically the back of the book, but we're reading this from Goodreads. I think. So that's what we're doing today, because that's what I decided. I make the rules. All right. I'm reading this for the first time. So. Oh, there's a hard word in here. I was homeschooled, guys. I didn't read out loud a lot.
That's funny.
Okay. Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle. That's a tongue tie right there.
Spindle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial Mercurial.
Mercurial.
Yeah, okay. That's a hard word.
Mercurial.
Spirit. Anyways, that
it's
spirit.
Like mercenary cereal.
Yeah, it's just
mercurial.
Surreal. Pretty pebbles, surreal. Okay. So an ancient mercer or whatever spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secret, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into the world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. And the highwayman, he just so happens to be the king's nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. Together, they must gather 12 Providence cards, the key to the cure. But as the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him.
Interesting.
So, you were right on some accords. I gave you quite a bit, actually. I was very surprised.
The description?
Yeah.
It did. Okay, so maiden, monster, martyr. That's the tagline. Mm-hmm. So maiden is Elspeth.
Mm-hmm.
The monster is inside her head. Maybe. And the martyr, we're assuming, is also going to be Elspeth. But so maybe it is all one person. But maybe it's also the highwayman that's also the king's nephew. I don't know. We'll see.
I guess you'll find out.
I guess I'll know when I know.
I'm really working on my poker face here.
Jessie says,
like, every time I try to, like, keep a little secret from him or something, my face gives it away. So we're working on that.
Okay. It's easier when you're looking at yourself.
Yeah. Or I was, like, looking at the outline. Oh. So then I wouldn't look at you because I cannot. But
that's fair.
This book is technically described by some as young adult, others as new adult. But I would say it reads like a young adult book. There is like one spicy scene in it.
Okay.
That would be what I would say would make it a little bit more new adult and less young adult. So
is there only one scene in both books?
Yes, one scene in each book.
Oh, one scene. So 2 over the series total. Okay.
Yes.
Which, I mean, we've covered, Addie LaRue had a couple.
Yeah. So
we'll give warnings.
Yes. Like, it's not, if we skip it, it's not detrimental to the story. So,
okay.
Like, just so everyone's aware, if you are a younger audience member and need to be aware of that, we'll give you a heads up. Like, hey, this chapter, there will be a spicy scene. So,
we'll have to give it before.
Yes, we'll put it in the show notes or something. Okay. So, this book is also described as a gothic fantasy with some romance. So, have you ever read a gothic novel before?
Yes.
Yes.
Question mark? I think so. It's like they're just a little like dark and twisty. Yeah. Like the Twisted Sisters in Grey's Anatomy.
Christina and Meredith.
Yeah.
So this book is definitely like different from any other book I've read, and I really enjoyed it. So normally I like happy, sunshiny books. So this was definitely something to get used to for me.
Okay.
But it's really good. Yeah. But I was curious if you had ever read an actual, like a gothic type genre novel before. It's still like YA fantasy, but it's like YA gothic fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've definitely read like a gothic type book before, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what that means for this book, because I think I sometimes hesitate to like give those kind of characteristics, because like gothic to one person wouldn't necessarily be gothic to another person.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm very interested to see like what that means about like for this book specifically.
So I think okay. So the only other book I've read that's like has a similar vibe, and I haven't finished this book. So.
Okay.
Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, I think. And I would also say Jane Eyre is is a little on the gothic side. Now, don't come at me if that's completely wrong, listeners. I just think both of those books reminded me a little bit of this one.
Okay.
Have you read Jane Eyre?
I haven't, but I know enough about it, and I would not classify that as gothic. I haven't fully read it, so maybe
it's like
I need to read it, but
definitely Wuthering Heights more so. Like Jane Eyre, probably like the vibes. That's all I can say for now. But we can talk more about that later. But like if you've read Wuthering Heights, I would say it's the vibes are similar here as well, like more so. And Wuthering Heights is classified as a gothic novel.
Okay. I haven't read Wuthering Heights. I don't know anything about it. I'm trying to think. I'm like looking at my bookshelf like that's going to tell me something. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I feel like Addie LaRue I would almost classify as like, that to me would be a YA gothic.
Yeah, I would say the vibes are similar too.
Okay.
And like it's not like happy go lucky like Powerless and Reckless are.
Okay.
But
that's fine.
good, like it's so different, and it's written so well that I think it would just be different, and I'm really excited. I really enjoyed it. I did have a hard time getting into it, and we'll talk about this, but when I texted Becca when I was on the flight, I like read over 50% of the book in like 4 hours. It was that good. Less than 4 hours probably. You are going to enjoy this, you and the listeners.
Well, it's funny. So Keri, so we had a few books that we were talking about starting, and we will do them soon. but we had a few books, and I was like, Keri, like, start it, see what you think. And she started it, and she was like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time getting into it. And then all of a sudden she was like, nope, this is the book we're doing. It was
I
like
literally finished it.
There was no doubt in her mind. And I was like, oh, okay, amazing.
No doubt. Well, because I really want to read Light Lark. So I was like, and it sits on my bookshelf next to my desk all day, and I'm just stare at it because the cover's so pretty, and I'm like, oh, I want to read it. You're so cute.
Yeah, I think we may do like Light Lark in the future too.
Let us know if you want us to do Light Lark.
Yes, but we're doing One Dark Window next for sure.
Yes, for sure. One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns, but yeah.
Yep.
All right, last question. Is there anything you are particularly excited about going into this book? Anything? Like, are you excited about learning about the Providence cards, the magic system, what's going on with Elspeth? I'm having to be careful because I'm doing this on the fly. I'm freaking out that I'm going to give a spoiler.
I just was curious, like, so, okay, based on your answer, I think I should be excited about the magic system.
Well, I've also been texting you, like, you're going to love the magic system. Magical Moments is going to be awesome.
Yes. So I think that's probably, like, I'm going to be excited about that. I also think that, and we're not going to go into like detail here, but we are thinking about changing up a couple things for the podcast as we're going through this book, just to make it more sustainable for us. Like, we both have full-time jobs, and it's a lot of prep work to do kind of how we were doing it. So I'm excited to have those adjustments and like see how those work too as we're reading through it, because I think maybe that will, not that we haven't had fun, I think we've had a lot of fun going through it, but I think that may make it a little bit more enjoyable. So I think those are the two big things: the magic system, and is this book dual POV?
Yes,
it has more than one.
Okay, like, yes,
okay,
eventually.
That's fine. So that's like,
you're gonna like fun. That part. Like, you will love, like, you don't just get one person's POV, like one character's POV the entire time.
Okay, so that's exciting. I'm excited about that. Speaking of POVs, totally changing topics, I was gonna talk about this on our Between the Lines episode and did not.
Oh no.
But I realized, for our listeners who have been with us for a long time, I have been doing my very best to work through the Harry Potter series. I've never read it before, and I have been struggling to get through it. I realized literally last night it's because it's in third person and not in like one POV, not in first person or even dual POV. It's literally just in third person. So now that we have identified that that's why I'm struggling, it will come a lot easier, because I'll just be like, Becca, stop, suck it up.
Just imagine you're reading it from Harry's POV.
Exactly.
Because I think that's what you end up getting mostly anyway.
Yeah. But with that, knowing that One Dark Window has POVs, like first person, I'm very excited.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was like, oh, you're gonna like this book, because it's yeah. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm gonna give something away.
Yes,
this is the first time I've gotten to talk about this book, guys. I'm really excited.
Yes, but stay tuned. We will be posting how we're splitting up the book. Like I just said, we are changing up how we're doing it a little bit, and we just want to make sure that's really solidified before we kind of post that. So we will be posting that on our social medias in our schedule. And our first episode, what we'll probably do is do like an intro of like, hey, this is how we're going to go through the book. So if you miss it on our social medias, we'll make sure the first couple minutes of our first episode of One Dark Window is spoiler free, so you can listen to it before reading the book if you wanted to.
Sounds good. I'm so excited for you to read this book.
Amazing. Me too.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much for listening today to our book bait. If you're excited about us covering One Dark Window, let us know. If you liked if you like listening to us, please rate and review us wherever you listen to us.
Please. We love your reviews.
And if you have friends who have read One Dark Window who you want to share us with, please send us to your friends. We'd love for them to become our friends too.
Yes, and for, like we said, for more content and to find how we're splitting up this book, be sure to check out our Instagram and TikTok at Tomes and Tropes Pod for more content, for information on how we're going to be splitting up this episode. Message us, give us your thoughts about One Dark Window. DM us. I would love to hear from you, but please, if you read it and you want to talk spoilers, be sure to be like, spoilers, or don't look, Becca. Just large letters. Alert, alert.
Alert.
Don't look at this, Becca. But you can also email us at tomesandtropespod@gmail.com, and we just love to hear from you. I would love to talk about the book with someone else while we wait for Becca to read it. So just DM us. But we'll see you next week.
Stay curious and keep reading.
Bye.
Bye.